Wild stuff.
Man, I hope that you order a Russian girlfriend at some point, Kyle. That'd be a fun thing to watch.
At some point, yeah, that hasn't happened.
No, that's why I phrased it that way. Yeah, at some point. Yeah, that'd be neat. I can't remember what it was. It was either on TLC or no, it must have been fucking YouTube like 5 years ago. There was a whole series of following these fucking losers. Some of the biggest losers you've ever... Some of the biggest losers, folks. Ask anyone. Let us know people call them the biggest losers. And these guys would pay to get women from like Belarus and Russia and like Mongolia. Probably not Mongolia. That's
you don't want one of those
happy
bitches.
Country. You know, and shipping them there. And so much of the time, you got some frumpy... What's that?
Wasn't it on MTV? I remember seeing it somewhere as well.
I'm sure there's a multitude of these shows. I just know that like these very attractive women would show up, and then a guy who's like 5'4" and 200 pounds overweight, and you would immediately see in her eyes like just the Ivana, you do what you gotta do here. Like that's what and you got this like bald Humpty Dumpty looking motherfucker just ecstatic. But then most of the time it would follow him back to the house, and then it would ask like 2 weeks in to be like, so Scott, how's everything going with Ivana? And he's like, well, I've been on the couch. I'm letting her get acclimated in the bedroom. We haven't had any physical touch yet, which is fine. I told her we'll take her time on it. And it's like, you go to her and she's like, I'm really just waiting until brother Dimitri show up. You get green card next quarter. Or like something like that. It's like, man, these guys are getting absolutely bamboozled. Which is fair because they're trying to bamboozle these women. Yeah.
There was one of them with like, he was like writing out checks every day. Like, here's your money for the day.
Yeah.
Why were they bamboozling the women though? Because I felt like they were getting what they signed up for.
They were, but it's like predatory to be like, oh, here's somebody in search of a better life. I can be that shoulder to cry on. All you got to do is kind of this tacit understanding that we're going to fuck, you know, and be like, it is predatory, you know, to go after women.
The idea is that you're able to, because of where you live and the opportunities that your country will provide, you're able to get someone that you normally wouldn't be able to get. They are disadvantaged, but by their own citizenship.
Yeah, big power.
I've always thought this Me Too style stuff, there were two sides of the story, right? Like on one side, you've got a guy who's using his position of advantage to get sex. On the other side, you've got a woman using sex to get what she wants. Why is it one-sided in this storytelling that we have here? Like these women get a green card, and all they have to give up is, I don't know, 15, 18 fucks.
More than that. Yeah, if they want to do lifetime stuff. But yeah, maybe you're right. It's just, it strikes me as skeevy because of the kind of guy who is doing it. Like any of the four of us, it would never cross our minds to be like, I gotta hit up a Belarusian woman that is in poverty and fucking trying to make corn grow in the killing fields out there. And, you know, I'm gonna ship her in here, because the only kind of person who would do that is someone who is kind of a loser, you know, like the women who already live in the first world don't want to be with him, you know? And so he's using that status he has to take advantage of someone who's kind of in need. And
then the other thing is, I think what I've seen in those shows is that a lot of times these ladies think that they're marrying a rich American because maybe that's a stereotype in their village, right? They just just like we have stereotypes, you know. I'm sure when I say Japanese businessman, we could all draw the same.
Lots of cameras,
yeah. We're all picturing the same guy right now, and so I think when they hear American man, they're like, oh yeah, Tom Brady. and then fucking Humpty Dumpty shows up, right? And he's like, here it is. This is my modular home.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you walk down the hall there, no, don't step on the rotten spot. You'll fall clean through. And that is the master bedroom. You know, they're like, oh, Jesus Christ. My house was better than this in the fucking village. You know, this is no good.
Yeah. That is a thing. I'm remembering now at least one where the woman came over thinking he was a rich American, and he lived in like a duplex, which lots of nice duplexes out there. This was not one of them. This was a shithole, just a really shitty place. And so, you know, that You know, that's the risk she took when she met up with, you know, Steve Williamson from, you know, the middle of Arkansas in his modular home.
Yeah. I watched one where the guy was like, he had been looking for a long time, and like it kept going wrong. And these services are very predatory. The ones who like, it's not like you do this. It's not peer based necessarily. It's not like, yeah, I'm looking for you and you're looking for me, like a dating website. There's a whole enterprise where you gather the women, advertise them, post their bios on your website, and the men pay them, and there's a whole
it's like ordering a pizza or something off the dark web.
Trickery involved, some misleading.
Well, you know, some facilitation, you know, and it's not necessarily always nefarious, but there is facilitation by a third party who's like bringing the women together, aggregating them, putting them in categories like, oh, you want this, this, and that. Well, these are the 8 women that we think would be good from you. This one's from Czech Republic. This one's from blah, blah, blah. And I feel like, I don't know, it's a real skeevy, sketchy kind of scenario.
No doubt.
But in the end, a lot of times these guys are just looking for love, right? You know, I don't think they're all looking for like a sex slave. A lot of them are just lonely guys.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them are just lonely. That's totally fair. And loneliness can make you do some pretty desperate things. You know, like if they're one of those guys who's like, I've tried dating here, I've been lonely for 15 years, like I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna fucking kill myself unless I get some sort of human companionship. So yeah, that part makes you just a sad situation all around. Glad we're talking about this.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, you know, that's a chief export in Russia's economy. So.
I still wonder, though, if there's not some way for this to happen a little more win-win, right? Like, let's take away the Russian bride aspect of it and just say, all right, I'm, you know, bagel guy or bagel man, whatever his name was, but I'm a multimillionaire, right? So that guy with cash, he can swing above or fight above his weight class. I'm looking for the term there. You know, he might get a hot chick that otherwise, you know, if they were just looking at the physical and emotional package, wouldn't be interested in him. But when the package completes a little bit, he can fight above his weight class. So maybe the American citizenship and the Russian bride thing, like you can just pull a little better tail than you could otherwise. And if they went into it wide open and well informed, it would be a good relationship.
That's where a lot of people go to Asia.
Oh,
like heaps of people go to Asia. Like if, you know, separated with their like first wife, they go to Asia, you know, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then like they get some 21-year-old, you know, hot Asian chick and, hey, come back to my country and, you know.
Yeah, I'm not discounting anything in the future, you know.
That's not an American thing. People don't go to Asia, but I can see how Europe. Yeah,
very common in Australia.
I meant to say Australia. Yeah,
very common.
Yeah, my friend went to Thailand, and he insists that he didn't do anything other than kickboxing.
Sure,
yeah, sure. I'll pressure him on it when he's drunk, but he hasn't cracked, so I think he might actually be telling the truth.
Okay,
I don't know though. Go ahead.